Hello programmers, welcome to writing a Java program. We're going to write our first program, well second, I think we wrote one in class. So let's go through the process of actually building one. So as kind of as an outline, writing a Java program, let's write a program that calculates the age of a dog in dog years. For example, if I have a dog that's 7 in human years, I think the general consensus is it would be 49 in dog years. So let's start by looking at the finished program. And then we're going to break it down and we're going to build it step by step. Along the way, we will expand on the steps to show various strategies for completing that task. So let's begin. Now if you look at my screen right here, I'm going to kind of move this over. And this is my programming environment that we've used. We're going to use NetBeans. And I've got the finished program right here. And I created a program called DogsAge. That's the name of my workspace. This is the name of my source file right there. So if we look at the finished program, what does it start with? It starts with a package. This is files used by NetBeans for showing where everything is. We're not going to worry about that, but it always has to be there. The next thing that comes into place is we have to import a tool. The tool is called java.util.scanner. It is case sensitive, so make sure that you follow capitalization. So this is a library needed to get input from the user. The next step is we do the description of the program. This program asks the users to enter the age of their dog in human years and then displays the results in dog years. The author in this case is me. Now follow comment convention right here. This is a Java doc. We talked about that in class, and it needs to begin with /**. So the name of our class is called DogsAge. Naming convention, capital D, capital A. It's a class, which is a blueprint, and it's available to everybody. The line right below it, we put our beginning curly brace. That means that's the beginning of our program. Way down here is the end of it. You'll notice that it keeps it in color. For this class, we're going to use the convention that the curly brace always goes on the following line. When you write your own code, you have a choice, and we'll talk about that later. So again, we're going to document that this is our main method. There's really nothing fancy here, and we're not going to use command line arguments, so nothing's going to be passed into our program. Our program only has one method. It's the main method. It starts here. It gives us nothing back, and there's only one of them. And so we're going to go through the process. We have variables. What do we need to use to store information? We have input, what we're going to get from the user. We have processing, the logic that's going to take place. And then we have output, what we're going to output to the screen. So let's look at our variables. To begin with, we have to have a place to store our information. Our variables, we need an object called standardIn. It's a scanner object. It allows us to read from the keyboard. We're going to need an integer, which is human years, and we're going to need an integer, which is dog years, and we're going to set that one to 0. So we also, in this example of the program, have 3 constants. We're going to use the naming convention for constants. Year 1 is 15. That's how much a dog is considered to age in the first year. Year 2 is 9. That's how much it ages in the second year. And then from that point forward, the dog will age 5 years for every human year. Not an exact science, but that's kind of where we look at it. The next step we're going to do is we're going to get the input from the user. So we're going to say system.out.print, please enter the dog's age in human years. That's what we're going to ask them to do. And then we're going to do an assignment statement. So we're going to read the next integer from the keyboard, and we're going to store it in the variable human years. Now our processing. So the processing is the different logic for recording the age, or the conversion depending on the age of the dog. So if the dog is greater than 0, which means it exists, we're going to add year 1. Now remember, year 1 is 15. So let's add, this is add, 15 to my dog's years. And my dog's years was initialized to 0. If it is greater than 1, so it's at least 1, could be 2 or more, let's go ahead and add year 2. So now we've added 15 and 9. Then we make our final decision, what if it's greater than 2? Well, then what we want to do is we want to figure out how many years past 2 it is, and then add 5 for each. So we do dog years plus equals. We do human years minus 2. So if it's 4 years old, then we're going to multiply 2 times 5. If it's 5 years old, we're going to multiply 3 times 5. So this will be the final add right there. So our processing is, if it's 1 year, add 15. If it's 2 years, add 9. And then for every year past that, add 5. Our output is now display the results. If in human years it's less than 1, that was silly. So let's say, what are you waiting for? Go get a puppy. Else, we're going to learn about these. If human years is less than 3, then we're going to say it's a puppy. So your puppy is dog years old in human years. Otherwise, we know that it's going to be an adult dog. It's 3 or more. And we're going to say your dog is dog years old in human years. These are concatenation. We talked about that in class. So let's see how this works, see if it runs. So if I run this thing, down here I click run. Let's do 0. What are you waiting for? Go get a puppy. Okay, so that worked right there. So let's test it again, and let's put 1. And if we put 1, then it's 15 years old. Let's run it one more time, and let's see, 10. That should be an easy one. So if your dog is 10 years old, it's 64 years old in human years. So again, let's review kind of the finished program. We have some documentation to get everything started. We have the definitions to begin, and then in our main method, we declare what variables we need, and constants we'll learn. We get input from the user, we do the processing, and then we display the results. So these are the steps we're going to follow. This is the finished product. So what we want to do is we want to go through the process of doing this step by step. Some people may be able to just look at this and they're familiar with it enough to be okay. But let's begin the process of going one single step at a time. And we're going to continue that in the next video.